Alright guys, welcome back. So what I want to do in this video is walk you through an example of how to complete this budget activity. Now, this particular budget activity is not as exhaustive as the budget project that you'll be doing, but it's very similar, okay, and hopefully it'll allow you to gain some insight as to how to go about doing that, and hopefully it will help you avoid some of the pitfalls that students tend to make. Alright, so let's talk about this for a minute. Okay, so what we've got here are basically the directions, and then we've got this other file, which is an Excel spreadsheet file. Okay, and this has got the actual budget template in it. It's got all the formulas for the respective cells, and so as we put information in here, it will do stuff with that information or with those dollar values. Okay, and you can see this cell down here, this will give us the net monthly cash flow, and this is basically what we're trying to find. Okay, so let's go back to the direction file. What we're going to do is we're going to read through this carefully, and as we come upon information, we're going to decide whether we need to include that in the budget or not. And furthermore, guys, some of these expenses or even sources of income may need to be prorated to a monthly basis, okay, because this is a monthly budget that we're working on. It says Smith Family Monthly Budget Action Plan, okay? And you could even use this particular file to make your own budget. All right, well, let's start reading this. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so it says the Smiths feel like they're not sure where the money seems to be going, and would like to start a monthly budget action plan. In summary, they need your help. They need our help. The Smiths family expenses and income are provided below. So we're going to carefully read through this, and as we come upon information that's pertinent to the budget, then we're going to input it into that Excel spreadsheet. So it says Daniel and Anna Smith currently have 2 children, ages 11 and 8. Okay, so that information is not really important. Daniel works as a supervisor at a local manufacturing plant. His current annual salary is $66,000. This is important, okay, because this is the source of income. Now, this is an annual salary, so we need to prorate this to a monthly rate. And so you would take 66,000 and you would divide it by 12, and this gives us 5,500. Okay, so I'm going to go to my spreadsheet, and under income here, and notice it says monthly for everything because this is a monthly budget. Under salary, I'm going to type in $5,500 because that's how much his salary is contributing monthly. Okay, now don't make the mistake of putting $66,000 in here. I have students do that all the time. That's his annual salary. Okay, all right, now I'm going to go back and continue reading. It says the Smiths family tends to spend more than they make each month, but are not sure how much more. They feel like they have too much credit card debt and don't have enough money set aside for family savings in the categories of emergency and medical. Okay, so none of that information is really important as to, well, it is important when it comes time to making adjustments, but just to determining what the status quo budget is, that's not important. And then number 2 here, it says their current MasterCard balance is $4,000, and it's being assessed at 24% APR interest rate. So we've talked about that. Finance charge, and they have a minimum payment of $80 per month. Okay, this is what's important. is that right now they're paying $80 a month on their credit card. Okay, so I'll go back to my spreadsheet, and under expenses, okay, that's going to be this column and this column. These are the expenses. I'm going to find credit card payment, and I'm going to input $80. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter. Now notice what happens as you're entering these values. The formulas that are in these cells are calculating. See, this calculates the total expenses. So thus far we only have $80, and this modifies the net monthly cash flow. So it subtracts the 80 from the 5,500, and this is the current monthly cash flow. So they're definitely in the positive. Okay. We've got the rest of these expenses to take into account. Now it says they are hoping to pay off their debt within 2 years. But this would require that they increase their monthly credit card payment to at least $206.67 to meet their goal. Okay, well, that might be important to take into consideration when we're making adjustments to the budget. But to determine what their actual cash flow is at the moment, that information is not relevant. Okay, so I'm going to ignore it. And I'm going to go to number 3. And it says the family bought a home 10 years ago for $250,000. Their loan is a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. We've talked about that at 6% APR. Okay, so that's their interest rate. Now this is the important information, and their monthly mortgage payment is $1,300. So that's what we need to include in our budget. And I'm going to continue reading. Well, no, I'll just go ahead and input this for the moment. All right, so right here where it says home mortgage, we're going to input $1,300 and hit enter. And so see how it goes about adjusting that cash flow. So that's the power of Excel, guys. It's very useful. All right, and it says to safeguard against theft, fire, and other calamities, they carry homeowners insurance with an annual premium of $804. Okay. All right, now we need to include this expense, but this is an annual premium, so we need to prorate this. So $804, if you divide that by 12, then we get $67. Okay. So that's homeowners insurance. So I'm going to come back in here and let's see. Okay, it's over here under insurance. Homeowners, we're going to input $67, hit enter, and then we're going to continue. Okay, furthermore, it says the Smiths pay $600 every 6 months for county property taxes on their home. Okay. So they basically, every 6 months, right? So if you divide this amount by 6, then you're going to get $100. So they're spending $100 per month on property taxes. So we're going to input that. County property taxes is $100 a month. And let's see. All right, so we've made it to number 4. It says they currently pay a monthly cable TV bill of $65.49. Okay, so that's already given on a monthly basis, so we don't need to prorate that. An internet provider bill of $60 and a cell phone bill of $120.45. Okay, so these are already prorated. And then it goes on to say their utility bills for electricity, natural gas, and water, sewer, garbage are, and then it gives the respective amounts. Okay, so all of these are prorated as well. So we need to just go ahead and input these amounts into our spreadsheet. All right, so cable TV is $65.49. Let's see, their internet bill is $60. their cell phone bill is $100, or excuse me, $120.45. Okay, so cellular, $120.45, and you just keep going. Okay. All right, the utilities, these go in order. So the electricity is $40.56. And then the natural gas is $79.50. Okay. And then let's see, lastly, the water, sewage, and garbage expense is $50.29. Okay, so let's see where we are so far. So their total expenses are close to $2,000, but they're still definitely in the positive. Okay. Now you may be wondering, well, these amounts are so accurate, right? They're given to the nearest cent. So my guess would be what they've done is they looked at the previous year, and they took the total amount that they spent on, electricity, natural gas, water, and then they averaged that, and that's what they're allocating for each month. Okay, and that's a good idea, by the way. All right, so we're down here to number 5. It says on average the family spends $800 on groceries per month. Okay, so we're going to put $800 for groceries. Okay. All right, look at this, guys. So now we've got basically our expenses are essentially half of our income. So we've got the other half as extra thus far. So we're still definitely in the positive on cash flow. All right, let's see what else. And they eat out quite often, and they spend about $200 a month on restaurants. That's actually not all that much, by the way. But let's go ahead and input that expense. Dining out, $200. Okay, we keep going. And then their clothing expenditures average about $90 for the family. Entertainment's about $65, so let's put these in. Clothing is $90. Entertainment is $65. That's actually not much either. And miscellaneous items are $70, okay, per month on average. So remember, when you're making a budget, you have to look at averages. And then the family pays $200 per month for health insurance. So for health insurance over here, $200 per month. That's already prorated correctly. And then finally, they pay $45 for quarterly life insurance premiums, okay? So you've got to remember what that term quarterly means. That means 4 times a year, which is every 3 months. So $45 every 3 months. If you divide 45 by 3, that's 15. So they're spending $15 a month on life insurance premium. Okay, so 15, and I'll hit enter. And that's pretty much it, guys. Now you'll notice they're definitely way in the positive here. They've got a lot of extra money, okay? So they could either just save all of this or save for a vacation, contribute to retirement, because it didn't say anything about that. And in your project, you will have to take that into consideration. They don't have a car payment. I think in your project there will be one, and consequently there would be auto insurance. So this is a very simple activity right here. But again, the idea is to give you an idea of how to do this. Okay, so we basically have constructed a status quo budget. Okay, they're in good shape. One of the reasons they're in such good shape is I adjusted the figures. The initial salary was only in the 30,000s, so that's quite low, so I upped it. And especially if Daniel's a supervisor at a local manufacturing plant, I would suspect that he's making more than 30-something thousand a year. All right, now in your project, you're going to have some questions to answer as well, so I'll go ahead and answer these. So it says, what was the original net monthly cash flow for the Smiths? Well, all we need to do there is look back over here. It's $2,096.71. Okay. So they're basically about $2,000 ahead each month. Now, number 2, it says, what percentage of their month grossly income is dedicated to the combination of their mortgage and homeowners insurance? Okay. Well, we first need to figure out how much they're paying for the mortgage and homeowners insurance combined. So the mortgage is $1,300. The homeowners insurance is $67 per month. So this will be $1,367. Okay, so they're spending $1,367 per month on homeowners insurance as well as their mortgage. Now, to see what percentage this is of their gross monthly income, we need to divide this by their gross monthly income, which is $5,500. Now, again, this is going to give us a decimal, and we've had examples like this in class. And then we can then convert that to a percentage, okay? All right, so to convert this to a percentage, if you remember, multiply by 100 or move that decimal to the right 2 places. And we're going to get, I'm going to call this 24.9%, okay? 24.9%, and that's not bad at all. That's about a quarter. So if all your spending on your home is a quarter of your gross income, you're doing pretty good. And then number 3 says list some of your creative but realistic recommended changes to their budget. Okay, so the idea here is that if they had come up in the negative, then you could make some changes, and you could come into the spreadsheet and make those changes accordingly. But because they're so far in the positive, we could actually start allocating money to savings over here, right? Savings for emergency, savings for retirement, savings for vacation. And then beyond that, if there's still extra money, maybe allocating a little bit of money for a little bit more entertainment or dining out, you know, things to increase their quality of life. Clothing, for example, okay? So making a budget, guys, is just really all about compromise, sacrifice, trade-offs, etc. Trying to determine what's going to be sustainable in the long run. Okay. So anyway, your project is very similar to this. It's just a little bit more extensive. Okay. You're going to have more to read through, more stuff to prorate, and the key here is prorating everything accordingly. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I see. And then you're going to have several questions to answer. Okay. So this is just a short little activity that I wanted to work out for you so that you aren't just blindly starting that budget project. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go for now, and I'll see you in the next video.